Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Fresh Off the Set. I'm Laura Murray, and this interview, I would say it hits close to home because I get to interview our newest
loving, and it's special.
I love that. And that's such an inspirational story for those who are wanting to go after something, but they're scared. Like, being you is enough.
Absolutely. That's been my biggest message is be you and be the best version of you. And I can thank my mom and dad and probably Texas because that's just a good morality place to live. That I grew up as my husband always says that I grew up under a rock. I'm like, babe, I mean, I think being sheltered is okay though. Okay.
Okay. So we talked about Texas a ton. Let's talk about a little more about, you, your family. How did you end up in Utah? How are we lucky enough that Kaime Stroot ended up here in Utah?
You're so sweet. I love that. So as I worked for Fox Sports, I was there about a decade. Towards the end, I was no longer the Fox Sports Southwest girl. I ended up becoming multimedia host and reporter. So I got a last name, and I was like a big girl, and I ended up pitching my own show. It was called What Now with Kaime, and I was getting ready to get going, and then I got pregnant. And I have always wanted to be a mom. My mom was like, since you were 2, I knew that motherhood was destined for you. My little sister, we're 18 months apart. She's like, you get in the crib, you feed her bottles. Yeah. That was it. And so my husband and we actually met through my co-host Liddy. So if I didn't have Fox, I wouldn't have my husband. So Chance and I met back in 2012. Thank goodness. Liddy was dating a guy, and I know I'm kind of going off on a couple things, but I'll come back.
Oh, no, you're good. And follow along, because that's her accent changes. She'll be talking about when she's in Texas, and then when it's not there, she'll be talking about present.
That is so funny. That is so funny. So I met Chance, because it's a big part to answer this question about why we came here. So my husband's name is Chance. I took a chance on him, and it was the best thing I ever did. So we were married for about 7 years before we had our son, and got to travel all over. I kind of mentioned it on the first time I was on the show. One of the first things my husband said to me, our second date, he texted me and he said, do you want to go north, south, east, or west? And I was like, fun. Okay, so I picked a direction, and he took me out in the middle of nowhere, and we got barbecue. I thought he was either going to kill me or
I was like, everyone be careful if they have a date that says that. Please be safe out there.
Oh, that's so funny. So that just shows our adventurous spirit. He is always, and I am a Sagittarius that's me to the core, and I just need my partner to take me all over. And so we would jump in the car, and when you're traveling Texas, it's a long road.
And it's flat.
It's so flat.
It's very flat. It's pretty boring. Sometimes my brother, who still lives there, is like, well, there are some hills. And I'm like, there are a few hills.
Yeah. So,
but there's no mountains.
You can go to Big Bend. I love Texas, by the way. Texas is amazing. It will always be my home. But I will say it is not as beautiful as Utah. So
I'm not taking offense. Every state has its pros and cons. We're just going to say that.
Oh, 100%. Okay, so basically why we came here is I ended up my show. So COVID changed everything, which changed everything for everyone's life. I kind of saw, I had just had my son in January. His birthday's January 10th. And so COVID happened 6 weeks later. Still at the network, still doing stuff for Dallas Cowboys. And I'm finally a mom, and I'm holding that baby in my hands. And I am like, you know what? This is where I want to be right now. So COVID, like I said, changed things. We had a lot less work, but it kind of was the first time in almost 10 years that I got to just take a break where I wasn't at, the Cowboys game on Sunday, Rangers game on Monday, Tuesday was Stars, then Wednesday was Mavs, then it was Friday. It was the first time I could just be. And like I said, it took us a while to have Kai, and so it was just the biggest miracle blessing ever. And we came here when he was 2, and I say here, we came to visit Utah. We are big skiers. Okay. So, I ended up, everyone goes, you're a skier? You're from Utah? I mean, from Texas? How does that work? Yeah. So I ended up, when I was a kid, we would actually go every Christmas to go ski in Colorado. So my parents didn't drive 2 more hours to Utah.
Oh.
So I didn't have a lot of experience. So anyway, we came here. We were kind of thinking about moving. I had broken away from the network, and just, again, being in the mom world, and We came to visit and fell in love with this place. The people couldn't have been nicer. I mean, people were walking our son to like the table when we would eat. And I'm like, I thought people in Texas were nice, but holy moly, people in Utah are so kind. And so we had the most amazing time and went home and honestly just kind of prayed about it and said, this is where we feel called to be. And so we packed all of our stuff up. I remember we had 6 weeks. And so I put all of our stuff in storage. I remember putting my son's crib in storage. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. We knew no one here in Utah, no family. I had one friend that I cheered with. And we just said, YOLO.
Well, you know where you feel called to be. And like, that's been pretty much like the theme of like this entire interview. Like you are one to trust your gut, follow your heart, go to where you feel like you're supposed to be. And look at you. You're sitting next to me now.
This is crazy.
Talking about yourself.
It is crazy. And it's kind of amazing. I mean, so when we left Texas, I left my career and everything behind. And I remember the Dallas Cowboys being like, you're going where? You're going to leave us? And I'm like, yeah, this is it. My parents were like, you're leaving? And I know that part was, like I said, I'm an empath. That part like was crushing. But I had a friend tell me, you got to just rip it off like a Band-Aid. And then there are moments where you have these amazing opportunities for them to come and spend 2 weeks with you, like nonstop. And it's like, you know, back when you're a little kid and you're always with your mom and dad. And so they both have come to visit me. And they also both go, you're never coming home. This place is magical.
Oh, well, we are happy to have you here. And you mentioned Kai a couple of times, your little boy. And that was, honestly, I think that was probably one of the first things you said to me when I met you. It was, you know, you're like, I'm Kaime, I'm from Texas, I have a little boy. And I was like, love it. So what is your favorite thing about being a mom?
Oh my goodness. That little boy is the apple of my eye. And I hope to goodness that we get to have more. We definitely want more children. And like I said a little bit ago, is I've always wanted to be a mom. I was always around kids, and I just think they're just this beautiful light in the world. And so being able to, I remember holding Kai for the first time. My sister had several kids before me, and I would love being Aunt KK is who I was. And the moment I realized, like, I'm not just Aunt KK anymore. I'm mom now.
Yeah.
I cried. And my husband's like, why are you just crying looking at him? I'm like, because I love him so much. You're about to do this. This is about to happen. You're going to have a moment when you look at your little boy and you go, oh my God, remember when Kaime said that? I am just crying looking at him. It is just, I don't even have a favorite thing. It's everything. I love from the moment I wake up to the time I go to bed. It is the hardest thing I've ever done. Yeah. But it's the best, most rewarding thing ever. Just to hear the things that like you teach them. Like I always, when we're in the grocery store, when he was like real little, you can't talk really. He's just kind of looking around and you don't think they're paying attention, but I wanted to teach him compassion and empathy. Yeah. And so we would like seek a mom who had a crying baby and be like, let's go see if we can make him laugh. Yeah. And that little personality is starting to really show as a 4-year-old. He's so like compassionate and he cares about people. And so it's just sweet to see like your heart can be imprinted on someone's life if you are a present and good parent. And I love that to me is what was so important. So when I left my career, it was a really hard decision to leave because I loved it. I loved it.
Your career, like you said, you were doing this for a decade and you met all these people, all these connections, and it's what you were doing. It's what you felt called to do.
Absolutely. And again, like leaving, but there was no like, should I do this? I was like, no, we're doing this. I didn't care. Yeah. Because motherhood was what was number one in my life. And I knew when I was ready that I could dip my toes back in. So here I am there. But it's kind of been our motto. Let's take a chance and do something big. And we did something wild. My son's middle name is Wilder, by the way. So my husband and I, we're all so adventurous. And so that's just kind of our heart and our spirit. And so what we did wasn't too crazy for us. It might be crazy for other people. So we ended up just taking on like the best adventure of our life. And now you can find us all over the state. Like we were just in Moab. We went to Kanab. Like we're always looking. Our neighborhood is always like, they text us. They're like, where should we go? What should we do? What hike? Where? And so it's really cool. We've only been here. It'll be officially 2 years in June. So we've done some pretty awesome stuff.
Love it. We are so happy to have you here and to have you as part of the Fresh Living team. I'm sorry to the Dallas Cowboys that we have you now.
That's okay.
It is what it is,
baby.
I want to ask you this question before we wrap up. What would you say to someone who is like listening to your story and is like, oh man, like she has had all these opportunities and she just like went for things. What would you say to someone who is maybe afraid to go after a dream?
Oh, I would say don't be afraid. I would say look within, find out what it is that you love, and just go for it. Now, listen, and I get it. This life is expensive. It's hard to do things. You got to pay your bills. But if you can just take one thing that you love and take baby steps towards that, you will go for it 100%. And when someone, I think the biggest thing I learned, I mentioned it earlier, is when someone tells you you're not good enough, you don't have to believe them. We can always be better. My husband and I always say iron sharpens iron. So sharpen yourself as best as you can, but be who you were born to be, and just be the best version of yourself. So I say do it all day, baby. Go for it.
Love it. All right, Kaime, this is what we usually do at the end of our podcast with our guests. We do something called the Fresh Five.
I love it. Let's do it.
So I'm just going to ask you totally random questions to just get to know you a little bit better. But they're like quick. They're really easy. It's not like I'm going to go really deep like we
Okay, go fast. Okay. Okay, let's see if my brain can work this fast.
Okay, what is one, if you could only have one piece of makeup, just one, what would it be?
Oh my God, I don't know. That is so hard. Lipstick? Lipstick.
You asked me like it was a question. I don't know. Is it lipstick?
I don't know. That's so hard. You start to go through like the whole thing, like my eyebrows. I didn't start doing my eyebrows until I was on TV. And the first time I did my eyebrows, I was like, why are we coloring my eyebrows in? But then now I love it. But I don't think that would be the only thing I would want to wear. So let's just say lips.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. She had lips. I thought these questions were easier.
I know.
Sorry. Okay.
I should have had a look at these. I'm just kidding.
All right, Kate. The second one. Would you rather have a cupcake or a donut?
Donut. But that cupcake better be moist. And if it's not, I want the donut for sure. So donut. I'll say donut.
Okay. I was like, so what's the answer?
Donut. Obviously, I like everything. Can you tell?
Oh, man. One of the best parts about being on Fresh Living is when we have people come in with sweets.
I know. There's some at my desk right now.
It is a very magical time when that happens. Okay. Number 3. If you could live in any movie, what would it be?
Oh, my God. Laura, these are hard. I don't know. Any movie? I honestly feel like this is probably not my answer, but like I feel like living here, I'm in the Sound of Music. So I love it.
Oh, okay. Great. The Sound of Music. Because every time, honestly, Utah mountains, whenever you get to like the peak or something, that song is just what's in everyone's mind. Well, at least in mine.
I think I sing it probably like at least 10 times a year already. Because I'm like, you're like the wildflowers when they're blooming. Yeah. You're like, I'm in the Sound of Music.
Yeah. We love it. Okay. All right. I'm sorry really that not the questions are hard. Okay. Number 4. I have asked this to other guests before, but you have a little boy. And I know he loves dress up. So which superhero would you choose as your favorite?
Y'all, this morning he had me put on, I had to be here super early to shoot our show. Uh-huh. He put on Spider-Man and his dinosaur costume within 10 minutes because he didn't want this one. But I don't know which one. I mean, I just like him in all of them. We went to Dinosaur National Monument and he wore his dinosaur outfit. It was the cutest thing I've ever seen. So there's not one. I'm going to say.
But you personally, if you had to pick your favorite superhero.
Oh, for me?
Would it be? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I just went on a rant about my little boy. Superwoman. Because let me tell you, when you're a mama, you're Superwoman.
I love it.
Yeah.
See that one was easy.
Yeah, that was easy. I thought you were talking about my little boy. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good. She just wants to mention Kai.
I know because he dressed up this morning. It was so cute.
Anyway. Oh, I love it. Yeah. I love it. Well, because dressing up as superheroes is fun.
Yeah. I'm like, it's like 6:30, baby. Why are we?
Well, you know what? There are huge events for adults to dress up as superheroes.
That's true. Very true.
So sometimes people just
do it.
They just love it. Everyone has a passion. Everyone has a hobby. Okay. Speaking of that, number 5, is there a hobby or something you've always wanted to do but never got around to doing? And you're like, oh, I would love it if this was my hobby.
Man, that's another good one. Probably like, I'm not a good artist, but I think there's something very like soothing about painting and things like that. But I don't know what I'd be painting because I'm not artistic.
The hills, the mountains of Utah.
I guess the hills. I'm so in love with the place. I don't know. Southern Utah is pretty amazing too. So those red rocks would be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe painting. I don't know. I just kind of, I did everything I wanted to do. Like competitive roller skater. I love ice skating. I can ice skate around. Like when I danced with the Dallas Stars, they took me on as a dancer. Yeah. And then we had skating practice because we actually had to clean the ice. Yeah. And I could skate. And they're like, wait, you can ice skate? I'm like, yeah. And I love to ski. So I'm doing a lot of things I love to do, which is good.
I cannot ice skate or skate to save my life.
Well, I can teach you.
you better be careful what you say because hopefully you have a lot of patience because I cannot do either one.
I got patience. I'm teaching Kai and he looks like just like an octopus. Like it's so funny.
That's what I would look like.
All right, I'll just hold you out. We could do a bit on that because Kaime and Alora ice skating. Let's go.
Let's do it. Well, Kaime, it has been so fun to interview you. We are so happy you are here with us. And to everyone listening, thank you so much. Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe, and we will catch you next time.
Congrats, you made it to the end. If you want to continue to freshen up your day, you can watch us on Fresh Living every weekday on CBS Channel 2 in Utah at 1 o'clock. You can also watch us on our YouTube channel, KUTV Fresh Living, and follow us on social media. We will see you next week.